going to call the Norton School Committee Wednesday, April 30th, 2025 meeting to order. We will do the Pledge of Allegiance, flag is behind me.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The meeting is being recorded by Norton Media. If anyone else is recording, please just let us know. First thing, obviously with the town election over, we are going to reorganize the school committee. So I do believe I have to read this whole thing.
Yeah, might as well.
All right. I'm sure I'll read it. Reorganization of the Norton School Committee is required by school committee bylaws following the annual town election, and the process is as follows. I, the chairperson, will open the meeting and turn the election process over to the superintendent of schools, who will act as a chairperson pro tem for the purposes of receiving nominations and conducting the election for the chairperson of the Norton School Committee. All nominations must be seconded. At the end of the nomination process, a motion must be made and a seconded to close the nominations, and then a vote is taken for the election of a chairperson. If there are only one nominee, the chairperson pro tem will cast one vote and announce the nominee as chairperson of the Norton School Committee. Upon the completion of this process, the newly elected chairperson will assume his or her duties and conduct the election for vice chairperson. The same process goes throughout each nomination, with seconds and motions to close nominations as required. In accordance with the school committee bylaws, Article 1, Section 2, both the chairperson and vice chairperson hold their respective offices for 1 year or until their successors are duly elected. After the election of the vice chairperson, the chairperson appoints one Norton School Committee member as a legislative rep, one or two members as employee negotiations rep, one or two members as capital improvements committee representative, one as the CPAC rep, and one as the permanent building committee rep. At this time, warrant signers are also appointed, numbers 1, 2, and 3. I'm not going to go through all the positions. We're just going to turn this over to Superintendent O'Neill.
Okay, thank you. So I request a motion to open nominations for the chairperson of the Norton School Committee.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I request nominations for the chairperson of school committee.
I would nominate Dan Sheedy to be the chairperson.
Second. Are there any other nominations from the floor? Or from the, not the floor, from you guys? All right. Seeing no other motions, I request a motion to close nominations for chairperson of the Norton School Committee.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so there's only one nominee. I will cast one vote for Dan Sheedy as the chairperson of the Norton School Committee. Mr. Chairman, I will turn the rest of the nominations over to you.
Okay, thank you. So at this time, I would request a motion to open nominations for vice chairman or chairperson of the Norton School Committee.
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion for vice chairman of the Norton School Committee.
I would nominate Justine Callahan.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
5-0. At this point, I will request a motion to close nominations for vice chairperson of the Norton School Committee.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving down into, let's see, legislative representative. Currently, that is a position that I hold. Is there a motion to appoint?
I'm not going to appoint, I'm not going to nominate myself.
Nick.
Yeah.
All right. Is there a second for Nick as legislative representative?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nick. The next is negotiations representative, currently held by Mr. Schleicher and Mrs. Callahan. I would say our best interest is to keep those two because we are in open negotiations.
Yeah.
So I would entertain a motion to appoint or reappoint Justine and Nick to the negotiations representative position.
Second. So moved, sorry.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We'll figure this out.
Yeah, we'll get it
We'll
eventually.
get there.
Everyone just keeps saying everything, we'll get it. We'll just, sorry to whoever has to keep track.
Tonight.
Capital Improvements Committee, entertain a motion to approve or motion to appoint to this position currently held by Audrey and Justine.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, the next one is CPAC representative, motion to appoint Audrey as a CPAC representative.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Permanent Building Committee, entertain a motion to appoint,
I'll make a nomination to appoint Laura, our new member, to that one.
is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, right.
Warrant signers, currently the order is Mrs. Cohen, who is no longer here, Justine, and myself.
I would nominate Justine to be number 1. I would nominate Audrey to be number 2, and I would nominate Dan to be number 3.
Yeah. So
Is there a
moved.
second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Are those all recorded?
Yep.
All right, at this time, we'll continue on with our meeting. The second item on the agenda is the public comment period. Anybody wishing for public comment, please come up to the podium, identify yourselves and your address. Okay, seeing none, move on to the next item, which is vote to approve the minutes of the April 16th open session meeting. Has everybody had a chance to review these?
Yes.
Any changes, comments, questions, concerns?
I had a question. It said that Antonio was absent. I thought he was here. Yeah, he was here. So that was my only thing in the notes. that-
Benson.
Benson was absent.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can make that change.
And then, just for a point of clarification, for school choice for 9th and 10th grade, it says 9th and 10th grade, 5. That doesn't mean we're giving 9,
No.
it just means 5.
Either or.
Either or. I don't know if you wanted to clarify that a little, but other than that, it looked good.
Okay. All right, so entertain a motion to approve the minutes with the changes asked for by the committee.
So moved.
Second.
You guys are getting quick.
Okay.
Jeez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Everyone's warmed up after all those.
Next is the warrants. Mrs. Callahan.
All right, I have reviewed and, I forget, what do I say? I have reviewed and approved, thank you, the following school expense and school payroll warrants. School expense warrant, April 16th, 2025, $1,018,289.04. School payroll warrants, April 3rd, 2025, $1,140,125.92. April 17th, 2025, $1,196,905.42. I wish to enter that in public record.
Just for meeting purposes, Sherry Cohen did sign off on these based on the timing of
Yes.
when they needed to be signed.
Next is the student representative updates with Antonio.
All right. Good evening, everybody. From the Yale, the week prior to vacation was our finals for our 2025 ST March Madness tournament, where all 15 homerooms are matched up against one another in a bracket-style tournament competition. We look for each student to do their 60 required puzzles per week, with the class with the better percentage moving on to the next round. The final 2 homerooms were Miss Leon's 4th grade versus Miss Hannon/Miss Winter's 5th grade homeroom. And Miss Leon's 4th grade students took home the title in a very close match. They were crowned our 2025 ST March Madness champion. As a prize, they'll be heading over to Honeydew for a little field trip for a donut and hot chocolate provided by our Hey PTO. Miss Hannah/Miss Mentor's homeroom as runner-ups will have a donut brought to them from Honeydew, and our consultation third place winner, Miss Rose's fourth place students will have Honeydew donuts brought to them as well. We are getting ready for our Math MCAS, asking all students to put in their best effort, take their time, and make sure they answer all the questions and all the parts of open responses. During the MCAS days, our students start with morning recess, then a snack in the cafeteria with all their friends, and we move their specials to the afternoon so that the day is pretty enjoyable one for our students as they deserve it for their effort that they're putting in. We know that they will show how much they know. Math MCAS is next week for both grades, and Science MCAS for 5th grade is the week after on Tuesday, May 13th. All we ask again is for our students to put their best foot forward, our students to put forth their best efforts. Next week is Teacher Appreciation Week, and we cannot thank our teachers and staff for everything they do for our students, and we know we can expect an awesome luncheon our Hey PTO has put on for them. And then from the JCS, just before April break, the JCS community held our fun run where all students were invited to participate in an exciting outdoor event during the school day with family members cheering them on. Even our pre-K students participated and had a great time. We had terrific weather and the event was very successful. May is a busy month for students, and next week we have book fair sponsored by our Solomoni's parent organization, as well as the celebration of the JCS Sea Turtle Days on Thursday. The annual celebration is held to teach students about the history of the Solomon School and celebrate our school's history through a variety of activities, including an all-school assembly, historic presentation set up in our library, and that all students are able to visit, and a faculty-student volleyball game. And then from the LG students had a visit from the Ooch the Yo-Yo Man today, thanks to our PTC. Ooch's show is called Positive Spin, and what's all that talking about negative situation and turning it around into a positive situation. There are yo-yo tricks, music, dancing, fun, and positive messaging. Everyone had a blast. We are also excited for our 3rd grade expert fair, which will take place tomorrow at 1 in the cafeteria. The 3rd graders have had quite busy working on their projects and are excited to showcase their products. We are so proud of all their hard work. And then from the high school before break, Norton High School's integrated what we hope would be a new tradition. We put on Battle of the Grades all week. Students dress up for Spirit Days, and on Friday, all students participate in the Battle of the Grades, in which students earn points for their class by completing activities and games and competitions with other group of students. Students participate in activities such as trivia and athletic adventures like capture the flag, wiffle ball, pickleball. The senior class, of course, ultimately won the competition.
Did they happen to keep score? Is that why they won? Just
We were the only ones that participated.
keeper always wins.
And then a rite of spring AP testing starts next week. It isn't exciting, but it's a great opportunity for our students to show off all of their acquired knowledge. And I just wanted to add that for the first time ever, the Lancer Theater Company participated in the Ocean State Star Awards, which were sponsored by Providence Performing Arts Center, where we have theater professionals in the Providence area come see our show, and they gave us a rating, and they gave us we got 7 nominations, which is really big for us. So we have our outstanding leads, which were Savannah Haggerty and myself. We have Cricket Goldstein for outstanding acting, Taylor Marks for outstanding supporting actor, and our advisors, Ms. Caroline Martell for outstanding directing, and our tech director, Mr. Matheson, for outstanding stage management, And then last but not least, we have Savannah Lonergan for an honorable mention in puppet operations. We had a big giant Audrey 2 puppet, and she was using a rope and just opening it and closing it for 2 hours. So we applaud her, and that's all I have for you.
Great, excellent work.
Antonio, congratulations to you on that nomination.
Thank you.
It's so amazing and such a great recognition of your work. I got to see the show myself, and you were fantastic as Seymour. So congratulations. And I happened to be with Miss Martell when she got the nominations while we were in Greece, and she was just over the moon. So congratulations to all of you.
I saw the video. Thank you.
Next is our Student Spotlight Series with the Henry Yell Unified Cornhole Program.
All right,
Mr.
thank you.
Gagan.
I'm going to
Thanks,
invite
Sarah.
up Mr. Gagan and Miss Lily Williams, who is the coach of the Unified Cornhole Program at the Yale School.
Well, first of all, we would just like to thank you for having us here tonight. It is a great honor to be here, and I just can't say enough about Mr. Hayward, because he was instrumental in getting the Unified program started at the middle school, which then included us with the Massasoit League. So we've taken over cornhole as our kind of thing, but we help and we support the middle school team with basketball and bocce and basketball, bocce, and now cornhole. But it's a great program. It's all about breaking down barriers. It's about fostering inclusion and making it something where the friendships happen across all grades and with all students. And so we have some of our students here tonight. Miss Williams has taken over for Mrs. McAllister, who has been our head coach, but she's on maternity leave. So Miss Williams has filled in, doing an incredible job. We just had our first game today, meet. We don't know what the name of it is for cornhole, but we just, I believe we won. Kind of like with the seniors that Antonio was talking about. They're not really keeping score, but we are keeping score, and we won. We definitely drove back home very sad. But yeah, so we have some pictures there of our team practices and then some pictures from today.
That form, Mr. Gagan.
Yes, Mr. Gigi did some cornhole too, did a great job. And participating in Unified Sports offers numerous benefits for our students. It promotes social inclusion, builds friendships, and enhances self-esteem. It's an excellent way for our students to showcase their sportsmanship and school spirit.
So is this an instance where, you know, I know that the backbone of Unified Sports is participation, so how does it work when we start this program? Is there rules that you show everybody, or, because I mean, I've been playing cornhole and I still don't know the rules, so how does that work, like, to show these kids what their expectations are to then compete?
So, it's on. So, there's a coach in West Bridgewater who oversees the cornhole, so she sends out all like the rules and regulations, so we're all on the same page, because there's a lot of different variations of cornhole. And then she was the one who kind of paired us up into teams based on when everyone could do everything, so we can have our matches.
How many matches do you anticipate having? Like, is there a schedule, or how does it?
Yep, we have a schedule. We're going to be playing for 4 weeks, so we just had our first game. We have 2 more games coming up. Next week we just have some practices, so we're looking forward to it. We have a really big team coming in 2 weeks, so it should be really fun.
Sure, come on up. Who's the shy one that doesn't want to?
I'm Aria. I'm Avery. I'm Dylan. I'm Sam. I'm Nick. I'm Joey.
Did you have any other questions for them? They have prepared some answers in case you might have questions for them.
If they want to share their knowledge, they can step right up.
Joey, did you want to? Nick?
I like cornhole. Wait. I forgot. You said this is like I like cornhole because you could throw the beanbag and stay anywhere, but not too close. I like playing cornhole because you get to meet and make new friends. I like playing the cornhole because I like helping people who need help with sports.
Dylan, are you an ace at this, like you are at baseball?
Yeah.
Anybody else want to?
Who can tell me the distance between the boards? I'll put you guys on the spot since no one wanted to volunteer.
It's like 24 feet.
I honestly don't know the answer. I really have no idea.
He wants to make sure he's playing right.
I'm gonna have to measure mine at home next time, because I was really looking for clarity.
Sure.
I think 30 feet.
I like it.
I don't know if I can make 30 feet, so.
Who made the Norton boards? Any idea?
I believe that they were made in our high school wood shop. And there's a bunch of people nodding their heads in the audience. Several years ago. And they have been used at the high school, they've been used in the middle school, and now we're using them down at the Yale as well.
Because that logo, and I forget your name, Bud, but I think that logo on your sweatshirt right there, yeah, we should slap one of those things on those boards.
Yeah.
Can we take a picture of all the kids with Mr. Kagan and Miss Williams?
Can I just say something?
Please.
Oh,
Yes, go ahead.
I'm so excited that this is the student showcase for my first meeting. I'm so big on unified sports and activities. I'm actually one of the school leaders for my school down in Swansea. So anything unified is like awesome. And my daughter has been on unified basketball in Norton here all 3 years at the middle school. It was really such a great thing to see some of the Yale kids come up to play unified basketball. So all of you should be very proud of yourselves. How many of you are fifth graders? That's awesome. So how many of you want to participate in unified sports next year at the middle school? Yeah, that's great. I'm so proud of all of you, and you should all be very proud of yourselves. Congratulations, students.
As you just said, that was something that Mr. Hayward realized that some of the schools had 5th through 8th, and he was like, well, Marty, why don't you have some of your kids be involved too? And so I can't thank Mr. Hayward enough for including us, because it's just made it so much better for us. And now Joey's going to be one of the first ones who's participated in 5th grade, and he's going to be going all the way up. They're going to probably think that he's not qualified anymore. His whole tenur's over.
Where would you like the picture?
Wherever you would like it.
You can stay there, you
Guys,
can come to
sit
the
down.
front.
We'll stay over here.
I'll just move everybody in, guys, and then Mrs. Russo will take the picture for us. Thank you.
Congratulations, guys.
Let us stay, but we got practice.
Next time we have you guys, bring the boards and set them up. All right, the next item, item number 7, is to vote and approve the Norton Custodial Department Employees Union Contract. We are going to table this item because we do not have the final draft in front of us, so that will be moved to our next meeting. Moving on to the next is vote to approve the Norton Administrative Assistance Employees Association contract. Wow, that's a lot. So, Dr. Arnett.
Good evening. Okay, so in front of you, you have the updated agreement between the Norton School Committee and the Norton Administrative Employees. There are a few minor changes here to this contract. It is a 3-year contract, which will begin July 1, 2025, and go through June 30th of 2028. There is a new salary grid for employees that are hired after June 30th of 2025. There are some few housekeeping items that were removed, some outdated references, and then we also are allowing our administrative assistants to take half personal days. These staff members work almost year-round, so giving them the flexibility during vacations and summers is definitely something that we thought was an easy thing to agree on. Are there any questions about the contract itself?
How many members are in this particular union? Do we not have a number?
Yes, currently 9. Small but mighty.
So, regarding the sick leave bank with such a small number, I might have missed it because I had to go through it a little quicker than I would have liked. I know that they donated a day to build the bank. Is there a maximum number of days in the bank?
No, there is not. So what happens is when it gets down to a certain number, what we'll do is we'll take another sick day from them. in order to replenish the bank.
Okay,
And they can get up to 20 days at a time.
up to 20 days at a time.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
And then I just had one more question. Article 22, which is on page 20, it's titled maternity leave. And to me, it's just a little bit of a language thing. So, if you have male administrative assistants, if they would like to be able to access this, they are not having the baby themselves. But, so I wasn't sure if we wanted to look into changing that instead of maternity leave to parental leave.
That's an easy fix, it would just be language. We do have a male administrative assistant, and he did take advantage of parental leave last year. So we can certainly, that's just a language change, which I'm sure they would be fine with as well.
Would that hold up approving the contract, or do we have to wait for
No,
that
I think we
language?
can still vote on it. It would just be taking out maternity leave and
Parental.
putting in parental leave, which is a very easy fix.
Everyone comfortable with that? Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Just a comment from Lisa Varney and Judy Lizio to work through this contract. I think maximally took us 2 sessions and probably about an hour and a half total,
Max.
max. They came to us with a very fair proposal, and we got it done fairly quickly, which was outstanding. So I think it's a fair contract to our administrative assistants, and obviously to the town of Norton and the taxpayers.
All right, entertain a motion to approve the Norton Administrative Assistants Employees Association contract with the language proposal change.
So moved.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Next is the district alignment updates with Dr. O'Neill.
Okay, so we met probably about a month ago and talked about the school start time conversation and discussed the fact that really other things kind of need to come into place for all of this to happen. So over the last few weeks, I have spent a lot of time looking at districts that have gone through the process of redistricting or realigning their schools, and we have met with a number of consulting firms as well. I've narrowed our search down to about 3 consulting firms at this point, and I'm working with them to put together proposals for the committee. Ultimately, there are some great people out there that do a lot when it comes to geo-specifics and the outlining of a community in terms of student enrollment, things that we are certainly not experts at in my office. But it's going to come down to finances at the end of the day. So I'm still in the process of putting those proposals together for you, but I will have them for you on the 14th, and then we can make a decision as a committee on how we would like to move forward. One of the biggest factors for us is that we already have a committee in place. We've done a lot of the work. We've surveyed staff. We've looked at our space. We've done that alignment. So we don't need a consulting firm to come in and do all of that. We also don't need a consulting firm to come in and be the voice of the work, because ultimately, I think that, myself and my team, and then you all as the school committee, we have the relationships within the school community, and bringing someone in from the outside, I think the message is better served coming from us. And so not all firms will kind of allow you to pick and choose what they provide. So those are some of the things that we're looking into right now. So that's the update, and I will bring you the proposals on the 14th.
Okay. Any other questions? So this was just to kind of go back on this. This is looking at school start times, redistricting, all those things we kind of talked, transportation.
Yes.
So are we looking for a consultant that maybe not necessarily rubber stamps our work, but they said, this is good, you may want to look at this. Is that kind of what we're looking at
So
for
it would be
verification?
Taking it to the next level. So doing the work with enrollment data and trends, looking at where students currently reside, looking at birth data, and saying, okay, if we're going to move the line for JCS and LGN, where should that line be drawn? There's a lot of people out there that's what their expertise is in. So that's really that next step that we really need to have some help with.
That's fine. Any other questions? Okay. Move on to the next item, review and vote on recommended budget transfers with Mrs. Happy.
Thank you. So what you have in front of you is the first transfer request of the year for school committee approval. We're looking for approval to move funds from over expenditures in the sped department and the expense lines from the salaries. So we're requesting $72,510.34 coming from sped salary lines to offset the over expenditures of the sped expenses line.
Questions?
Why did we overspend our budget by 72,000? Obviously, we have the line items here on the back. I guess we don't need every little one, but like, what is a sped tutor contract DW?
Those were unanticipated services that we needed collectively district-wide on the tutor contract service that we had to outsource.
And that could be for multiple children.
It is for multiple children.
And then I'm assuming, from a transfer, how did we get $72,000 in salaries that we get to transfer over?
Those were position moves between the top ones that you see, JCS and LGM. We had moves between the two different schools. We had teachers that left, and then we brought in lower rates where those savings were coming from. And then, as you can see, different offsets there with the paraprofessionals of the high school and sped teachers of the high school.
So it's not that we lost staff members through attrition, we've saved money, so we're moving money. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, entertain a motion to approve budget transfers as presented.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, next is review and vote on changes to the school calendar for 25-26 school year.
Okay, we have brought back a calendar for you with some changes from the last time. And I also included for you our rough PD sketch for 25-26, because I think this is helpful for everyone to have a better understanding of the different priorities and needs that we have in order to provide staff with professional development throughout the course of the year. So as we know, staff return at the end of August. They will be reporting on Tuesday the 26th for our Welcome Back Day, and then Wednesday the 27th, which is our district-wide Professional Development Day. In this proposal, we have kept the end of the month early release days for professional development on September 24th and October 29th. You can see those highlighted in yellow. November 20th of 2025, there is no professional development scheduled. December, there is no professional development scheduled. January 28th, remains the same. In February, we did not keep the professional development day that was there. The students have a week off. It's a short month as it is. We're keeping students there. However, in March, what we did was we added 2 half professional development days. As anyone who works in a school setting knows, March is the longest month of the year. It just goes on and on and on. So we are proposing an early release day for professional development on Wednesday the 4th, and then also Wednesday the 18th. Elementary students also have Wednesday the 26th as an early release for parent conferences. In April, we moved the date to April 8th instead of having it right after the break. And then May 20th would be the final early release professional development day of the year. So this version of the calendar still gets us the same amount of time that was originally proposed, but we just moved the dates around a little bit. And as you can see on the following page, the professional development that is needed. There is a huge amount of training around curriculum and instruction, our IMTSS work, database decision-making. We, as you know, we have inter-reading at K to 5. It will only be the second year for them. The high school has their NEASC accreditation decennial visit coming up. We have a lot of work to do in terms of special education, cross-district collaboration, and so on and so forth. So my team kind of combine their efforts here and all the different training that needs to happen. So hopefully that gives the committee a better idea of what happens on those days as well. And once the final schedule is determined for those days specifically, we can share that with you as well.
So this doesn't include like changes at the high school for finals and.
Those are all in there already.
Okay.
Yep, and we shouldn't have, MCAS shouldn't impact the calendar in terms of early release days.
Is there any thought about the like Little Lancers?
We're actually meeting on Tuesday. And so what we're looking at is flexing professional development for the Little Lancers staff. So in 1 month, they would have professional development in the morning, and the morning students wouldn't come, but the afternoon students would be on their regular schedule. And then the following month, they would have PM PD. The morning students would come as normal, the afternoon students would not come. So we're trying to make it more equitable for those families, and looking at the timing of that as well.
How would that work with the full day pre-K?
So they would either, if they were a full day, they would just come in the just in the afternoon on those days that PD was in the morning, or vice versa.
Any other questions?
So there's still 10 half-days, correct?
There are 7 half days for professional development. There are 3 early release days for students district-wide, November, December, and then June. The June day is a full day for staff. They're here all day cleaning up and doing all their paperwork. The November and the December dates, it's not a full half day for staff. They're usually released about an hour or an hour and a half ahead of time.
So I guess one question, not anticipating any snow days. If we have one, would the 12th then go to a full day and kind of shift that half day to the last day of school? Okay.
The last day is always a half day, and that's when staff, that's when they do cumulative records,
Yeah.
they, get the folders to the next year's teacher, all of those things happen on that last day.
I had 2 questions. My first question is, just because I'm learning, typically in Norton, does the union have input on the calendar? Do they get to see the drafts of the calendar and look things over and have say?
Not unless there's significant changes, and this is our typical model that we use. So if we were going to start school before, like if kids were coming back before Labor Day, or we were getting rid of a vacation, then we would, share that with staff before it kind of comes and gets approved, but.
And then kindergarten ending earlier than everyone else, is that typical too?
Yes, we do kindergarten screening on the last day, because otherwise we would have to pay staff to be here for an additional day.
Okay, well, this is 2 days though. This says, we're not counting, so that last day is the 10th.
So screening happens on the 11th and 12th.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep.
I guess it's not a question, more of a comment. I just, again, feel like the community, what I've been hearing is just 10 half days is a huge pain, especially when 7 of them are around professional development. It just, to me, we're disservicing our community to, make parents and everyone else try to, get out of work early to get these kids off the bus or pick them up from school or whatever. So, I know we need a calendar. I know we're in negotiations, but I'm torn here because obviously we need a calendar because parents need to start planning a little bit here, as do teachers and whatnot. But again, I will fight half-days because I just think the day gets lost, and then when there's 10 of them, that's, to me, 10 days that are lost out of in-classroom learning, you know? So that's my thought.
Can I ask a question to piggyback off of that? So just from personal experience, when we do have, because we do half days as well, typically how our half days are run, we try, I don't know if this is a practice here, we try at least the elementary level to squeeze in as much of the academics as we can. And so then really, ultimately, the half day is justified in the sense that the kids aren't having lunch, they may not be getting their special per se, recess, things like that, at least at the elementary level. So there is still a significant amount of academic time being conducted during that half day, and then still counts as the full day. And then the other thing I would offer up too is if you look at surrounding districts, I mean, this number of half days is not something that's really outrageous. Yes, a lot of other districts do full day professional days, but again, it's, I don't know, to me it's a little bit of just splitting hairs.
So we are required to serve lunch. If we do not serve lunch, it does not count as a day. That's a
Really?
Massachusetts state law.
But however, we can send lunch home and that does count, or is that one of the exceptions?
I believe we're supposed to serve a hot lunch.
Okay.
And I can double check with
Wasn't
Mike,
sure.
because we were not doing that in the past and we got in trouble for it.
Oh, that's
Part of our
interesting.
state audit.
Well, then,
And so,
I better go check on that.
don't tell Mr. Holcomb that I said that.
Well, yeah.
So we are required to serve lunch. We were doing things differently previously and we got our hands slapped. I think if you're going to trade half days for full days, that's a different conversation. But I don't think we couldn't possibly do with less professional development time than we already have. I mean, you're doing a disservice to students if teachers don't have the training that they need to be able to, you know, teach in the classroom either.
No, I totally agree with that, but like I said, it's, I don't know, it's a, to me, there's a better middle ground to make this work for, kind of for everybody a little bit, everyone give and take a little, and I feel like we could get there, but I also understand that we do have some extenuating factors here as well. So, I mean, my thing is, you know, just as last April vacation, you know, depending on what teacher was in the middle school and whatnot, is were you down in the, you know, auditorium sitting there the whole time playing around with games and being outside, or were you in the classroom? It all depended, you know. So, you know, I get it, I know, you know, we can all remember back to our days in school, and again, I know everything's different now, but when you have a half day, the whole aura about the day is completely changed. You know, and I don't, to me, I don't think there's a huge stress on academics. I think it's more of, hey, it's a half day, let's have fun, let's have a, you know, I think one teacher called it a social emotional learning day. Where did that come from? I have no idea, you know, but that's the things that we're hearing. So again, that's why I'm looking at it more of in terms of, you know, how do we make this work for parents and also keep these kids in class?
So,
And I would, sorry, Dan, I would be more than happy to walk you around on a half day. And I would say that, you know, 9 times out of 10, there is definitely quality learning happening.
I mean, you know, taking this a different, so in my, you know, work day to day, one of the districts I service has had 5 half days this month in various different schools. So I mean, that, and some of them are middle school, some of them are elementary school, but 3 of them as a whole were district-wide. So I mean, I think we're being, you know, there's a happy medium, there's a little bit of fairness on both sides. I mean, half days are nothing new. I mean, we've all been there. It's just, we can only do so much, but, you know, as we learned with the PD, some of these things need to be done periodically. And, you know, as we pushed last year to get some new curriculum, well, now we have to show these teachers how to, you know, perform with that curriculum. So, you know, years ago, I believe, we kind of pulled one of the full PD days, and that's why we come back earlier with the teachers. So that was one thing I believe we took off the calendar going back probably at least 10 years or so.
Yeah, so we would do
Pull the
one
first one
day
out.
prior
Yeah.
to the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And then we would not have professional development like the full day until November.
Yep. So,
But and again, we have 3 half days leading up to vacation days. where everyone has a half day and there's no PD, correct?
2.
Last day of school,
Last day of school is a full day for staff.
okay, 23rd of December.
And they're not like full half days. Teachers get out about an hour to an hour and a half before the students.
After.
Yeah, sorry, after. No, we don't leave them on.
That could be interesting.
Yeah, let's go for that.
Yeah. So again, I don't know, I mean, I just look at this as district early release. You have November, you have December, you have, that's it, those 2?
Well, and I think that's practice across most districts is to have those before breaks. Or I actually, again, my districts, they're off before breaks. They don't work. So it's just, you're gonna find, there's 351 districts, you're gonna find 351 variations, so.
I know there was like a lot of discussion the last time we did this, and so I just wanted to make a couple comments. So one is, I'm sorry you felt like you had to put this together to show us.
No, we didn't feel like we had to. We wanted to provide you with some context around what was going to happen on those days.
Because I totally trust in the admin team and what you guys are doing on professional development days. And I know how important they are. I think from the perspective of what I hear from the community is, yes, it is an inconvenience for families to make this work, once a month or whatever it is. But I also think from a professional standpoint, I just love the idea. I know in that maybe I'm speaking just from myself, but when I go to a conference or a workshop, when I can sit there all day long and collaborate with colleagues in an extended amount of time, I just feel like I'm gaining more. So I love the idea of a full day professional development, but I also can understand that there's other factors to providing the full day professional development, and this is what we've done and this is what works and all of the things. So I just wanted to make those 2, and I again fully trust the way you guys put together professional development.
Thank you. We just thought it would be good background for you guys.
And I also understand that they are needed, and that time is certainly needed. So just to clarify if there was any confusion from the last time.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, entertain a motion to approve the calendar as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-1. Next is the update on strategic planning. Dr.
Okay.
McNeil.
See your slides there. All right, thank you. Okay, so we have been working on the strategic planning process since early in this calendar year. We have a fantastic committee. Christine, if you could go on to the next slide. That is working together, and literally every single time I leave these meetings, I think, what a great group of people this is, because there's a lot of really engaged parents, a lot of really engaged staff. So the role of the committee is to really work together to help create the district plan and represent their shareholder groups. The way that this system has been working is I will do work with the leadership team, and we will build off of what the strategic planning committee does, and then the strategic planning committee takes the work from the leadership team. So it really is a nice back and forth between the members of the community that are engaged in the planning committee and then the leadership team itself. So far, what we've done is we've given surveys to staff, students, and families. We held a community forum. We've done a SWOT analysis, which includes identifying strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of our current system. We looked at the root causes of some of our current issues, and then we have also just began last night imagining the future of Norton Public Schools. So I wanted to share some of the feedback with you because I think this is actually really interesting. These are answers from the community forum, answers from our parent surveys, and answers from the committee themselves. So in school programs that are important, they talked a lot about reading fundamentals, technology, and programs that foster student creativity. How can we ensure a sense of belonging for all students? A lot of conversations about inviting parents into the school more, providing more multicultural events, How can we make better connections with the community, whether it's the senior center or the fire department or a town hall? Making sure that every student has an adult that they make a connection with at school. And then also do a better job of sharing what we're doing. There are a lot of great things that are happening, but we need to make those connections more public and explicit. We asked families what they thought their role was in supporting their students in their learning, and so communication, partnership, connecting the learning from school to home, being involved. And then we asked, what's the responsibility of the student? And I think this is so interesting because it's a lot of things that we talk about all the time. Self-advocacy, student voice, learning through mistakes. We all make mistakes every single day, and our kids think they need to be perfect. That's not how we learn and grow. What strategies can we engage to improve student achievement? More explicit data use, useful data. That was one of the things that we talked a lot about last night. Better explanation of curriculum to families, teaching about grit and perseverance, showing the connection between the academics and the SEL. How can we improve upon developing well-rounded, productive citizens? Personal finance, that's something we've talked about here a lot. Mastery learning, how do we know that kids are taking and owning that learning day to day? Bridging the gap between high school and college, but not just high school and college, high school and the workforce, and the trades and careers. And then, better use of transitions between one school and the next. Family engagement at elementary is so different than family engagement in middle school and high school. And for those of us who teach, or those of us who have seen our own children through these grade levels, it's so different. But more showcasing for students, like the STEAM night, where students came and they were showcasing things from their class or from their activities. A lot of parents want to come and see their kids engaged and involved. Make more curriculum-based events that engage students and family and the community together. And then how can we foster a better connection between students, peers, and teachers? Increasing electives, growing the list of clubs, thematic events, older students reading to younger students. These are all really great things here, so I wanted to share some of that with you. One of the key factors that we're using in looking at our strategic plan is we wanted to make sure that we were bringing research-based practices into the fold and not just creating a plan that felt good, but instead had specific factors that showcase school improvement. Because while we do well in certain things, we have a lot of opportunity for growth. So in the work that we're doing, both with the leadership team and with the strategic planning committee, we are looking at these 4 domains around rapid improvement. So there's turnaround leadership, talent development, instructional transformation, and then culture shifts. And under each of those categories are smaller areas, are domains that we're looking more closely at. So far, based on the survey data that we have, based on feedback from staff and from families and from our committees and leadership, we've identified 5 of those domains that I just shared with you. And prioritizing improvement and communicating its urgency, setting clear performance expectations. So we're giving staff a lot of things that they need to do, but we're not being super clear about, what does the data review process look like? Once we have the data, what should we do with it? So that's what we're talking about, setting clear performance expectations. Diagnosing and responding to student learning needs, building a strong community intensely focused on student learning, and then providing rigorous evidence-based instruction. So far, that's kind of where we're looking at our key areas that we need to explore further. So what we did at our leadership meeting on Monday is we all sat around and each group had one of those 5 topics, and we took a look at how we could improve those areas. And we did a protocol called the 5 Whys. Okay, so for example, Christine, can you go back for 1 quick second? Thank you. You can go back again. So if we are talking about diagnosing and responding to student learning needs, why is that a challenge for us? Oh, you can go forward, sorry. My fault. Why is that a challenge for us? So we asked the question why. And every single time we had a why, we would say, okay, well, why is that? Until we could kind of dig down into the root cause of this particular problem. And so one of the things we had to remind ourselves is that, there are certain things that we can control as a system, and there are other things that we can't control. So we had to focus really on those two internal circles. So the core realm, instruction, curriculum, and assessments, and then the next one out, leadership, supervision, professional development, materials, scheduling. It's much more challenging for us to, if budget is the root cause, we're not going to get very far in solving this problem. We need to figure out a way that we can control what the cause and solution are. Personnel, governance, and all of those things. And then, so we talked about last night with the Strategic Planning Committee, thinking about 5 years from now, based on all the feedback we've had from families, based on the data that we've seen and the priorities that we've identified, and what does Norton look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? And how did we get there? So that is, those were the two things that we asked last night, and we had some really great conversations, but those conversations are just beginning. I'm going to be inviting staff to some different community forums to talk about the future of Norton and asking those same questions. What does it look like 5 years from now, and how do we get there? And we're going to do the same thing with our leadership team and see what else we come up with. And I'm also going to do it with my superintendent advisory group, because they are the most honest people that I work with. My high school and middle school kids, they tell me exactly. So, we're not done yet. We still have to finalize our strategic objectives. We have to look at the mission, vision, and core values. I'm fairly certain there is no one in this room, including myself, that could give you our mission or vision off the top of our head, because it's not something that's lived. It's not something that we own. It's very long. We will draft the plan and solicit feedback within the community and within our staff. And then I will be presenting the finalized plan to you all at our meeting on June 11th. So we are definitely making great progress. As I said, the Strategic Planning Committee is an exceptional group of community members. They are so engaged and they're willing to have difficult conversations. And I kind of leave every meeting thinking, okay, this is going okay. This is going fairly well. Just because they're so willing to roll up their sleeves and have difficult conversations. And then this summer, we will be working on implementation. We'll be looking at that professional learning document, adding things in as needed, and then the principals will be starting their school improvement plans to share with you probably at our first October meeting, would be my guess. So that's it. Happy to answer any questions the committee may have.
I think I just want to, say thank you to those who are participating in this strategic planning operation. I think for far too long, the vision didn't exist for public schools, and you still see that in some other districts, that you can't not have a plan for what the future holds. And there can be wild cards, but at least we have to know what we want to be and what we want to be as a district. So thank you to all of those who are participating in this. Questions, comments? Okay. Any other business coming before the committee?
I don't have anything.
Mr. Slacker.
I don't know, do you want to touch upon this? I guess I know it's an invite to us, but maybe just make an announcement here.
Yeah, you can make the announcement.
Okay, cool. Norton Veterans Council is hosting their Memorial Day Parade Monday, May 26th at 10 a.m. It will be leaving the high school parking lot proceeds down East Main. If you've ever been, they do the loop around the Common, and then the Master Sergeant Trent Memorial as well. Just kind of throwing that date out there as we got it from Gary Cameron with the Norton VFW. And I got one more, if no one else has anything. I just want to say thank you. I know we had a eventful FinCom meeting, if you will, on Monday night. However, you know, I know that committee is, you know, put on the spot right now in terms of, you know, the town budget and how everything kind of shakes out. And, you know, in order to, you only got so much money to play with, just like we do. You know, so in order to make everything and balance the budget is definitely a challenge. I especially want to, you know, shout out Zach Tillis, who kind of came up with an idea, you know, to almost get us to level services without having to make drastic cuts. You know, again, so I think, you know, there's obviously still work to be done, you know, but what the FinCom is going to recommend moving forward to town meeting, I think is going to put us in a pretty good spot and be able to hold all of those positions that we brought back during last fall town meeting as well. So I think we're in a pretty good spot there. And again, we still have some work to do, you know, with via school committee and obviously Jen's team, but you know, I think what we saw transpire, I think definitely deserves a thanks. It's not as simple as you know, moving a dollar here to take a dollar there. So thank you very much to the FinCom.
I just want to thank, you know, the community as a whole for coming out to the election last week. You know, I also want to officially welcome Mrs. Gustafson to her first meeting, and many more to come. And I also want to thank Mr. Schleicher for, you know, his leadership as school committee chair for the last year. It does not go unnoticed. It is, you know, obviously it's a thankless job sometimes, but he did that with good understanding. So I want to thank him for his time in that role. Are there any other comments, questions, concerns from the committee?
I'm excited.
Okay.
Just one last quick one. The town manager search. Andre, I know you probably have a little bit more inside information, but it does seem like there's going to be quite a bit of meetings leading up to that. So we are going to ask the select board and that committee to see if it's a process that maybe a few of us can fill in for Audrey as she's on that. Obviously, in these roles, like anybody, it's a volunteer position. You know, there's going to be quite a few meetings. However, I did hear some good news that they have over 100 applicants already on the docket. So hopefully we'll be able to get someone who can, you know, kind of take the town to the next level.
Okay.
100 applicants.
All right. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Have a good night.